So in this video we're covering arcs and central angles. We'll get into sector area and arc length in the second part of the video. So the first thing that we want to understand is what is an arc of a circle. What are we talking about? We'll be talking about this piece on the edge of the circle. Okay, there's various arcs that we could talk about. This arc that I'm coloring in red would be the arc SU. Okay, I guess I could also call it US. All right. This arc that I'm coloring in blue right now, I could call this the arc TU, or I could call it the arc UT. Okay, and this arc that I'll do over here in, let's say, orange, all right, this arc would be the arc ST, or we call it TS, all right? So, like I was saying, we like to go in alphabetical order, okay, but we understand that if the letters are rearranged, it still talks about the same arc, okay? So, SU, and the name of this arc would be arc TU, okay? So there's two ways to talk about these arcs, okay? We could call them an arc. We could just write the word out, arc, or we can use the symbol, all right? It's up to us. Either one is fine. Okay, but we have to answer this specific question. It's asking us about which arc is made by angle 3. So what that means is what's the central angle, right? Which one of these arcs takes us back to angle 3, okay? And the idea is that it's actually SU, right? Because if I was to follow these two endpoints of the arc SU, if I follow that back to the center of the circle, I can see that this makes angle 3. Okay, so this is the idea that we're trying to learn here. Okay, so we would say that angle 3 makes the arc SU. All right, let me go fix that a little bit more. Okay, or I guess we could call it US. Okay, but we'll call it SU for today. Okay, so we could write out the word arc SU, or you can use the arc symbol and just understand it the way that we read this, okay? If you see this, you read out loud, what are you going to say? You're going to say arc SU, okay? So again, it's just the basics, so we'll keep practicing to make sure you get the idea. So at this point, we're going to see that we have a new angle. And in this case, it says angle 3, and our new picture is the one that we want to look at. So we can see here that if we look at angle 3, okay, I can follow these two lines. I could darken them and see, well, this touches the circle there at W and at V. Okay, and so the arc that it makes is this arc VW. Okay, so it's arc VW. Okay, so again, the answer for this problem would be arc VW. Okay. You could also say WV, all right, but I like to write things in alphabetical order just in case so we don't get too confused, all right, by having 3 different answers. But you could also write WV. It wouldn't be totally incorrect, all right? So now we'll move on to number 3. Okay, so for number 3, again, you might want to pause the video or at least be thinking about the answer ahead of time. Okay, what do you think the answer is going to be here? Well, in this case, we can see that angle 4 right there hits the circle at E and at H, okay? And so that makes the arc EH, all right? So the answer for this would be arc EH, okay? I guess you could also say HE, but like I said, I'm writing EH, all right? So, number 4. All right, we're getting to number 4. Think about it. Take a second. All right, the simple things that I'm trying to show you guys to make sure that you don't make a simple mistake is just darken the lines, and let's be sure we're sure. Okay, we can see that it hits E and goes all the way to F. So the arc made by angle 1 is EF. Okay, so I'll let you guys think about the next one. Okay, you could think about number 5 for a second, and I'll put the answer up here. All right, the answer for 5 would be EF. All right, and the answer for number 6 would be IF. Okay, so you guys should be able to understand how to do these right now. I'm hoping that that makes sense to you. We'll move on to the other procedure that's basically just going backwards. Okay, so now we're making sure that we understand what happens when we have a central angle. So we start with FE, okay, so I'm going to go darken those 2 points. So I could see them, and we see that's this arc right there. And if I follow those points to the center, we'll be able to see the angle that it creates, and that's angle 1. Okay, so that tells me that we can say that angle 1 is the central angle of arc FE. Okay, and like I said, we could also call it EF. Okay, in this case, what does the worksheet call it? They call it FE, so we'll use that. Okay, if it was me naming it, I probably would have called it EF. Okay, but we got to understand that it's all the same. Okay, I'm just trying to prevent us from getting confused. So this problem would be done. All right, number 7 would be finished. We go move on to number 8. And so now on 8, you would want to make a choice. What do you think the central angle is of this arc? Okay. Well, again, just like I said last time, if you follow the endpoints of the arc ST, it says arc ST. So if I go darken ST, again, I guess we could talk about this now, right? I want to go from S to T, but there is 2 ways to go, right? I could go all the way around the whole thing. So we got to decide, right, when we're defining what an arc means, right? Which way do we want this to mean, right? If I say arc ST, then I want to go the short way, not the long way. Okay, so if I did want to go the longer way, then what we would do is we would name that with more points, right? I would have to add a 3rd one, right? So if I was to tell you, oh, let's do the arc SVT. Okay, well, what would that mean? That would mean start at S, but before I go to T, I got to go to V. So go to V first and then go to T, all right? You see the difference between those 2 arcs, right? So when we have an arc, you guys basically want to just use the shortest distance between the 2 points. Whenever we have 2 letters, all right, we're going for the shortest distance. So that's these 2. All right, and we can see that those trace back to a central angle of 1. Okay, so the idea is here is that angle 1 is the central angle of arc ST. All right, angle 1 is the central angle. All right, so take a look at number 9. What do we got here? All right, think about it for yourself. Pause the video if you want to think for an extra beat. All right, and what we should have here is angle 1. There we go. You should have got angle 1 makes NM. Okay, I think we can see how that traces back to angle 1. All right. All right, so now for 10, if you guys could think about this for a second. So I'm recording. All right, so when you get to number 10, you got GH. And in this case, what we have to do is go darken the endpoints. I have to go darken the endpoints, and if I follow those back to the central angle, then I can see it's got to be angle 3. All right? So we're getting through this part of central angles. All right? If you guys think about this problem right now, you can pause the video and try to figure out what you think the answer is for number 11. So, as we look through, the central angle of this arc is angle 1. Okay? So again, follow it back to the center. All right, if we look at IH, you should be able to make a choice. What do you think the central angle is for IH? Okay, I'm hoping that you can see that it is angle 1. Move on to number 13. Okay, now we're into a new set. So in this section, we'll have to deal with the arc length and sector area, and this is going to bring us to a new video basically. So what I'm going to do is cut off the video here so that we have the end, and then just understand if you want to move to the second page, you have to watch the part 2 video. Good luck.